Has anyone ever wondered about the subtle ways life evolves once you hit 80? It's not always what we expect. As we step into those later years, everyday experiences can shift in ways that surprise us, affecting how we connect, move, and find our rhythm. At Healthy Madam, we've spent years listening to and learning from seniors navigating these transitions, gathering insights to help make the journey smoother and more empowered. In this video, we'll explore 7 unspoken challenges of life past 18, not to overwhelm, but to shine a light on them so you can approach them with confidence and practical steps. These are realities many face, drawn from the shared stories in our community, and understanding them can bring a sense of preparedness that turns potential hurdles into manageable paths. Healthy Madam has dedicated time to supporting folks through these stages, and we're here to share simple, actionable ways to adapt. You'll walk away with tips that might just make your days feel a bit lighter and more in control. Imagine waking up with a clearer sense of how to handle the day's ebbs and flows, drawing from the wisdom of those who've walked this path before you. We've compiled these from heartfelt conversations, online forums, and even quiet chats over tea, where seniors open up about the little things that add up. For instance, one community member described how recognizing these shifts early allowed them to adjust their home setup proactively, turning a potential source of frustration into a haven of comfort. It's about empowerment, not fear. Think of it as packing an umbrella for a cloudy day. By the end, you might find yourself nodding along, thinking, that's why that happens. And armed with strategies like gentle daily rituals or clever household tweaks that fit seamlessly into your routine. Healthy Madam isn't just sharing facts. We're passing along the kind of friend-to-friend advice that comes from real-life trials and triumphs, ensuring you feel supported every step. Whether you're approaching 80 yourself or caring for someone who is, these insights can foster deeper understanding and proactive choices, like scheduling regular check-ins with loved ones or exploring community resources that keep spirits high. We've seen how small adjustments, such as incorporating adaptive hobbies, can reignite joy and maintain a sense of vitality. So, settle in with your favorite cup of something warm, and let's uncover these layers together, building a toolkit that's as practical as it is compassionate. Let's dive in with the first one. Challenge number 1. The gradual fade of energy that once felt endless. Do you find yourself pausing more often during tasks that used to flow easily? In our Healthy Madam community, we've heard from many who notice this shift around 80, where stamina doesn't recharge quite like it did even a decade ago. One follower shared how they used to spend full afternoons gardening or strolling the neighborhood without a second thought. But after 80, those activities started leaving them wiped out by midday, turning what was a joy into something that required careful planning. It's not just about feeling tired. It's the way low energy can sneak up, making simple routines like preparing meals or visiting friends feel daunting. Over time, this can lead to skipping out on things you love, creating a cycle where inactivity feeds into even less vitality. The body's natural slowdown means cells repair slower, hormones fluctuate, and even rest doesn't always restore you fully, leaving you vulnerable to frustration or even minor health dips from overexertion. Take, for example, another story from our group. A gentleman in his early 80s who loved tinkering in his workshop, building birdhouses for the grandkids. He'd hammer away for hours, but suddenly, after a routine day, he'd collapse into his chair, too drained to even enjoy dinner. This wasn't laziness. It was his body's way of signaling a new normal, where metabolic rates dip and muscle recovery takes longer, often compounded by subtle dehydration or nutritional gaps that go unnoticed. We've seen this pattern repeat, where unchecked fatigue leads to mood swings or even avoiding social outings, which in turn deepens the energy drain through isolation. But here's where storytelling turns to empowerment. Think of a widow in our community who faced similar dips after losing her spouse. Her energy sapped, not just physically, but emotionally. She started small, experimenting with paced walks around her block, stopping to chat with neighbors, which unexpectedly boosted her spirits and stamina. It's these real tales that highlight how energy fade isn't inevitable defeat. It's a cue to listen closer to your body. But here's the key adjustment. Instead of pushing through like before, focus on breaking your day into shorter bursts of activity with built-in rests. For instance, try the 22-10 rule. 20 minutes of light movement followed by 10 minutes of sitting with a warm drink. Healthy Madam suggests incorporating gentle stretches or chair yoga first thing in the morning to build a buffer of energy. Pair that with nutrient-rich snacks like nuts or yogurt to stabilize blood sugar, and track what drains you versus what boosts you in a simple journal. This way, you're honoring your body's new pace, preserving energy for what matters most, and often finding you accomplish more without the burnout. To deepen this, consider adding mindfulness moments, perhaps a 5-minute breathing exercise midday. Inhaling deeply to the count of 4, holding, then exhaling slowly, which many in our circles swear by for quick recharges. Another tip: hydrate strategically with infused water. Like lemon slices for a zesty twist, as mild dehydration exacerbates fatigue in seniors. We've had members report transformative results from meal prepping energy-sustaining foods, such as oatmeal bowls with berries and a sprinkle of cinnamon, prepared in batches to avoid cooking exhaustion. Or explore light resistance bands for arm exercises while watching TV, turning passive time into subtle strength building. One inspiring anecdote comes from a retiree who, facing post-lunch slumps, graded an energy audit checklist, noting activities by their drain level and swapping hikes ones, like vacuuming the whole house at once, for segmented sessions. This not only conserved her vitality, but sparked creativity, leading her to discover audiobooks as a low-energy entertainment source. Healthy Madam encourages blending these with social elements, like inviting a friend for a shared stretch session via video call, fostering connection while combating fatigue. Ultimately, these extensions build resilience, turning what could be a limiting challenge into a harmonious rhythm that celebrates your enduring spirit. Moving on to challenge number 2. The quiet pull away from familiar social ties. Ever notice how conversations with old friends seem to space out more as the years add up? This is something that comes up often in Healthy Madam discussions, where seniors describe a natural drifting that can leave gaps in daily life. We recall a community member who had a standing weekly card game with neighbors for years. After turning 82, though, some participants moved to be closer to family. Others faced health issues that limited outings, and suddenly the group dwindled to just a couple. It wasn't dramatic, but the absence created a void, fewer laughs over coffee, less sharing of memories, which amplified feelings of disconnection. As peers pass on or retreat into their own worlds, the network that once provided emotional support thins, and without proactive steps, it can foster a sense of being adrift, especially if mobility or hearing makes new connections harder. Delving deeper, consider the tale of a former teacher in our group, who thrived on classroom banter but found retirement silence deafening post-ID. Her phone, once buzzing with colleague check-ins, grew quiet as life pulled everyone in different directions. Retirements, relocations, even subtle tech barriers like forgetting how to use group chats. This erosion isn't just logistical, it's emotional, where the loss of shared history leaves one reminiscing alone, potentially stirring up grief or self-doubt about one's relevance. We've heard variations, like a veteran whose war buddy's circle shrank, leaving him with untold stories that ached to be shared, highlighting how unaddressed drift can compound into profound loneliness, affecting sleep and appetite. The turning point comes with intentional outreach. Shift from waiting for invites to creating your own low-key gatherings, like a monthly phone chain where everyone takes a turn sharing a highlight from their week. Healthy Madam recommends exploring senior centers or online forums tailored for those 80+, where virtual meetups can bridge distances without travel. Start small, perhaps by reconnecting with one distant relative via video call, and build from there. This rebuilds bonds on your terms, turning potential isolation into renewed warmth and reminding you that meaningful ties can evolve at any age. To expand on this, incorporate themed interactions, say, a Memory Monday email exchange where you swap old photos and anecdotes, sparking joy without physical effort. Another practical gem: use apps like Zoom with easy tutorials from grandchildren, scheduling recurring virtual teas that mimic in-person coziness. One heartwarming story involves a lady who, feeling the pull away, started a neighborhood newsletter via simple postcards sharing recipes and jokes, which not only revived old ties but attracted new ones from passersby. Healthy Madam suggests journaling gratitude for past connections to ease the sting, then channeling that into acts like volunteering virtually, reading to kids online, which infuses purpose. For those with limited tech, lean on community libraries for assisted device, loans, or classes, turning barriers into bridges. We've seen this approach blossom, like in the case of an 85-year-old who revived a long-lost cousin bond through handwritten letters, evolving into weekly calls that became lifelines during tough weeks. Add layers with sensory touches, such as sending care packages with favorite teas, fostering reciprocity. These extensions nurture resilience, weaving a tapestry of support that defies distance and time, ensuring your social world remains vibrant and fulfilling. If these thoughts are resonating so far, drop a 2 in the comments to let Healthy Madam know you're following along. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. We'd love to keep bringing you these supportive insights. Challenge number 3: the unexpected reliance on small aids for everyday independence. Have you started reaching for support in moments that used to be effortless, like climbing stairs or buttoning a shirt? Many in the Healthy Madam circle open up about this, realizing it's a common part of the 80s landscape. A story that sticks with us is from someone who prided themselves on solo errands, from shopping to home upkeep. But post-80 arthritic hands made gripping jars tricky, and a slight balance wobble turned quick trips into cautious outings, leading to avoided tasks and a growing pile of unmet needs. This creeping dependence isn't about losing all autonomy. It's the accumulation of minor limitations, from joint stiffness to slower reflexes, that can erode confidence if ignored, sometimes resulting in accidents or unnecessary stress. Expanding on this, picture a dedicated homemaker in our community who once whipped up family feasts single-handedly, but found chopping vegetables increasingly painful, her knives slipping and spirits dipping as meals became battles. This wasn't defeat. It was biology at play, with reduced grip strength and joint where making precision tasks risky, often leading to cuts or frustration that spilled into self-perception, questioning her role. Similar narratives abound, like a gentleman whose shaky steps on uneven sidewalks prompted skipped walks, isolating him further and weakening muscles in a vicious loop, underscoring how unacknowledged needs can snowball into bigger health concerns. To reclaim that sense of control, embrace adaptive tools early as allies, not defeats. Healthy Madam advises starting with ergonomic gadgets like jar openers or reachers to handle those finicky chores without strain. Build a routine around preventive habits, such as daily hand exercises with a soft ball to maintain dexterity, or enlisting a trusted helper for heavier lifts while you direct the process. By viewing assistance as a smart strategy, you extend your independence, freeing up mental space for enjoyable pursuits and fostering a proactive mindset that keeps you at the helm. To enrich this, integrate warm-up rituals like soaking hands in warm water with Epsom salts before tasks, easing stiffness as many members attest. Another tip: customize your space with Velcro fasteners on clothes or lever handles on doors. Simple swaps that preserve dignity. One touching example is a widow who, reluctant at first, adopted a walker with a seat for rests during garden strolls, transforming it from a symbol of loss to a companion that enabled longer outings and birdwatching joys. Healthy Madam encourages mindset shifts through affirmations like tools empower my choices repeated daily to reframe reliance. For deeper engagement, join online tutorials for DIY adaptations, such as padding tool handles with foam for better grip. We've witnessed triumphs, like an artist whose shaky hands threatened his painting. But adaptive brushes and easels revived his passion, leading to community exhibits. Layer in social support by discussing needs openly with family, perhaps creating a help wish list to guide assistance without overreach. These enhancements build a foundation of self-reliance, turning vulnerability into strength and ensuring your daily life flows with grace and agency. Challenge number 4. The subtle sense of being sidelined in a bustling world. Does it sometimes feel like the pace of society rushes by without pausing for your input? This observation echoes through Healthy Madam's shared experiences, highlighting how visibility can dim after 80. One contributor described volunteering at a local library, where younger staff would overlook their decades of knowledge during discussions, assuming tech-savvy answers over lived wisdom. It built a quiet frustration, not from malice, but from a cultural tilt toward youth that marginalizes elders' voices, potentially leading to withdrawal and a loss of the fulfillment that comes from contributing. Diving further, envision a former executive in our forums who commanded boardrooms, but found family gatherings, dismissing her insights on current events. Her stories labeled old-fashioned, chipping away at her sense of worth and prompting silent retreats to her room. This invisibility stems from societal speed, where quick digital exchanges eclipse thoughtful narratives, often leaving seniors feeling like spectators in their own lives, with ripple effects on mental health like diminished self-esteem or reluctance to engage. Tales like a musician whose gigs dried up, not due to talent but perceived age, illustrate how this sidelining can stifle creativity and joy, turning vibrant contributors into shadows. Counter this by asserting your presence gently but firmly. Prepare key points before conversations to guide discussions your way, or join groups like elder advisory councils where your perspective is valued. Healthy Madam encourages documenting your stories in a journal or short recordings to share with family, turning overlooked moments into opportunities for legacy building. This reclaims your narrative, boosting self-worth and encouraging others to see the depth you bring, transforming potential invisibility into influential engagement. To amplify, practice story starters like in my experience... to weave wisdom seamlessly into talks, as one member did at book clubs, shifting dynamics from dismissal to deference. Another strategy: leverage social media with help from younger relatives. Posting insights on platforms like Facebook groups for seniors, fostering virtual visibility. A compelling story comes from a historian who, feeling sidelined, started a blog on local lore, attracting readers and invitations to speak, reigniting her spark. Healthy Madam suggests role-playing scenarios with trusted friends to build confidence in voicing opinions, perhaps over coffee meetups. For broader impact, volunteer in roles like mentoring programs, where your expertise shines, as seen in a retiree who tutored immigrants, finding mutual respect that healed old wounds. Incorporate daily affirmations of value and curate a wall of notes from appreciative listeners. These layers cultivate a bold presence, ensuring your voice resonates, turning marginalization into meaningful influence and enriching both your world and others. If number 4 hit home, comment for below. Healthy Madam appreciates hearing what connects with you. And if this is helping, hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop. Challenge number 5. The introspective pull toward reevaluating life's direction. As days grow calmer, do reflections on past choices ever linger a bit longer? In Healthy Madam forums, this emerges as a pivotal shift for those over 80, where quieter routines invite deeper contemplation. We heard from a retiree who, after a career in education, found the empty schedule post-80 stirred up what-ifs about unexplored hobbies or family time missed, fostering a subtle unease that could overshadow present peace if not addressed. With more time comes space for unresolved thoughts to surface. And without fresh outlets, it might spiral into a feeling of aimlessness, especially as physical limits curb big adventures. Broadening this, reflect on a nurse in our community whose selfless decades left little room for personal dreams, like traveling or painting. Now, in stillness, those deferred aspirations haunted quiet evenings. Blending nostalgia with regret and sometimes sleepless nights pondering alternate paths. This introspection isn't mere reminiscing. It's a psychological reckoning where unfulfilled potentials clash with limited futures, potentially eroding contentment and health through stress. Stories vary, such as a father regretting workaholic habits that distanced him from kids, now facing grandkids' visits with a pang of what dash could dash have dash been, emphasizing how unchecked reevaluation can deepen emotional rifts. The empowering pivot is to craft micro-purposes tailored to now. Identify one small daily act, like mentoring a grandchild via letters or tending a windowsill herb garden that aligns with your core values. Healthy Madam suggests a weekly gratitude review to balance regrets by noting achievements, then channeling energy into accessible goals, such as listening to audiobooks on long-forgotten interests. This reframes reflection as growth, infusing your days with renewed intent and turning potential heaviness into a serene, self-defined chapter. To deepen engagement, create a purpose jar with slips of ideas, like calling an old friend or trying a new recipe drawing one weekly for gentle exploration. Another tip: pair reflections with creative outlets, such as scrapbooking life highlights, transforming regrets into celebrated milestones. One uplifting narrative is from an engineer who, grappling with untaken risks, began writing short stories based on his inventions, self-publishing a booklet that delighted family and quelled inner turmoil. Healthy Madam advocates guided meditations via free apps, focusing on forgiveness for past selves, fostering inner peace. For social infusion, join discussion groups on life lessons, where sharing reevaluations builds camaraderie, as a participant did, turning solitude into solidarity. Layer in tracking progress with a simple calendar, marking fulfilled micro-goals to visualize forward momentum. These additions nurture evolution, converting introspective pulls into purposeful pushes that honor your journey while illuminating the road ahead, with hope and fulfillment. Challenge number 6. The steady erosion of sensory sharpness that reshapes daily perceptions. Have you caught yourself straining to catch a familiar sound or squinting at details that once jumped out? This gradual change is a frequent topic in Healthy Madam conversations, as senses like hearing and vision often soften after 80, altering how the world feels. A community sharer recounted enjoying evening news broadcasts for decades, but around 83, muffled audio made following along frustrating, leading to missed updates and a sense of being out of touch during family chats. Similarly, dimmer vision complicated reading labels or spotting hazards, turning routine tasks into sources of caution or errors. These shifts aren't just inconvenient. They can heighten risks like mishearing instructions or overlooking steps. And emotionally, they might withdraw you from interactions, amplifying isolation when conversations feel labored. Exploring more, consider an avid reader whose fading eyesight turned beloved books into blurs, prompting her to abandon the habit and feel intellectually dimmed. A loss that echoed and diminished confidence during discussions. This sensory erosion, driven by age-related changes like lens clouding or auditory nerve wear, often intersects with other challenges, exacerbating falls or misunderstandings that strain relationships. We've encountered accounts like a music lover whose hearing loss muted symphony's nuances, leading to avoided concerts and a quiet grief over lost pleasures, illustrating the profound impact on quality of life. The practical response lies in proactive enhancements. Consult specialists for fitted hearing aids or updated glasses, and integrate habits like brighter home lighting or magnified readers for close work. Healthy Madam recommends apps with voice-to-text for news or audiobooks as alternatives, plus regular eye and ear checkups to catch issues early. By adapting your environment, think larger print books or positioned speakers, you maintain engagement. safeguarding safety and joy in the sensory experiences that color life. To elaborate, incorporate dietary boosts like omega-3 rich foods, salmon, or walnuts. For eye health, as members report clearer vision over time. Another approach: practice auditory exercises, such as listening to podcasts at varying volumes, sharpening focus gradually. A poignant story features a grandfather who, struggling with TV dialogues, switched to subtitled shows with family, turning it into bonding time that enriched connections. Healthy Madam proposes home audits, rearranging furniture for better acoustics or adding task lamps to preempt hazards. For tech-savvy twists, use smart devices like voice-activated assistants for reminders, easing perceptual strains. One success tale is a seamstress whose vision aids revived her crafting, leading to handmade gifts that spread delight. Blend in mindfulness, like savoring scents during meals to compensate for tastes dulling, a common companion shift. These expansions fortify perceptions, preserving the vibrancy of senses and ensuring life's tapestry remains richly textured and accessible. If you're nodding along to this one, type 6 in the comments so Healthy Madam can see what's landing. Your feedback keeps us inspired. Challenge number 7. The ongoing juggle of multiple health concerns that demand constant attention. Do minor ailments seem to pile up, turning health management into a full-time focus? Many over 80 in the Healthy Madam network describe this layering of conditions, from arthritis to heart issues, as an under-discussed load. One participant detailed living with diabetes alongside joint pain and blood pressure worries. Where monitoring one affected the others, medications clashed, appointments overlapped, and fatigue from it all sapped motivation for self-care. This complexity goes beyond physical symptoms. It can overwhelm mentally, with forgotten doses or conflicting advice leading to setbacks, and the sheer volume of doctor visits eating into precious time, sometimes breeding anxiety about what's next. Unpacking further, imagine a former athlete grappling with osteoporosis, hypertension, and digestive woes. What started as separate issues intertwined, with painkillers upsetting stomachs and mobility limits hindering exercise for heart health, creating a web that felt inescapable and eroded daily optimism. This juggling act, fueled by polypharmacy and comorbid dynamics, often leads to caregiver burnout or personal despair, as routine checkups dominate calendars, leaving little for leisure. Narratives include an artist whose vision and hand tremors from multiple meds stifled her work, amplifying frustration and a sense of lost control. To navigate this effectively, streamline with organization. Use a pill sorter labeled by day and time, or apps that remind you of meds and track symptoms for doctor talks. Healthy Madam advises consolidating appointments when possible, perhaps with a primary care coordinator, and prioritizing holistic habits like balanced meals that support multiple conditions at once. Enlist a family member or service for transport to ease logistics, turning the juggle into a supported routine that empowers rather than exhausts, allowing more room for life's brighter sides. To enhance, adopt a health binder for notes on interactions and side effects, empowering discussions with providers. Another tactic, incorporate gentle Tai Chi, benefiting joints, balance, and stress for multifaceted relief. A motivating account is from a veteran who, overwhelmed by VA visits, partnered with a telehealth service, reducing travel and integrating yoga breaths to manage anxiety spikes. Healthy Madam recommends herbal teas like ginger for digestion alongside meds with doctor approval for natural synergy. For emotional balance, join support groups sharing coping strategies, as one did, turning isolation into shared wisdom. Track victories with a progress app celebrating stable days. These fortifications simplify the juggle, reclaiming energy for passions and fostering a harmonious health narrative that sustains well-being. Wrapping this up, these 7 challenges: fading energy, drifting ties, emerging reliances, feeling sidelined, introspective reevaluations, sensory erosion, and health juggling paint an honest picture of life after 80, But there are also invitations to adapt with grace. Healthy Madam believes facing them head-on equips you to thrive, drawing from the resilience you've already shown. Which one spoke to you today? Share in the comments, perhaps how you might apply a tip as your stories inspire our community. Reflecting on the breadths we've covered, it's clear these aren't isolated hurdles, but interconnected threads in the fabric of aging wisely. We've drawn from diverse experiences, like the gardener reclaiming energy or the storyteller asserting visibility, to illustrate that adaptation isn't about perfection, but persistence. Healthy Madame has witnessed transformations where embracing these realities leads to richer, more intentional living, perhaps rediscovering hobbies, strengthening bonds, or simply savoring quiet moments with newfound appreciation. It's a reminder that your journey's depth offers unparalleled wisdom, capable of guiding not just yourself, but generations. So, as you ponder these, consider journaling your takeaways, turning insights into personal action plans that evolve with you. Our community thrives on this exchange, where one shared tip can spark widespread empowerment. These insights are a foundation. Check out Healthy Madam's video on gentle exercises for sustained vitality next. It's perfect for building on what we've discussed. If this sparks something useful, give it a like, subscribe for more, and share with someone who might appreciate it. Thanks for spending time with us. We look forward to your thoughts and seeing you soon. Your engagement fuels our mission to support seniors in living fully. So let's keep the conversation going.